You're listening to live and local conversation on Talk Radio 600 WBOB. The lines are open. Dial 854-1320. Now let's return to Cindy Gray's politics, business, and mayhem.
I'm a loser. I'm a loser. And I'm not what I appear to be. Of all the love I have.
We are getting to that. I'm certainly not referring to myself or anyone on our program. Who we're referring to is the Obama campaign. He is the loser of the day. He is burning through money like he does our taxes. His reelection campaign spent more than it collected in June, and that's very bad for a campaign at this time, especially at this table of the election cycle. He seems to believe that he has unlimited campaign money as well as unlimited United States taxes off the backs of you and I. We're going to talk taxes. We're going to talk what's wrong with this country and how a congressional race can help fix it as we welcome Senator Steve Oelrich. He is formerly of the Florida State Senate as well as a former law enforcement officer. He's running for Congressional District 3, and he has a lot to say about what's wrong with this country and how he can get up there and possibly take what Obama has built and recreated into something decent. Welcome to the show, Senator Oelrich. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Cindy. Thank you very much.
Now, you're running in District 3. And now
that's correct.
That is a district that was that recreated through redistricting?
Well,
Tell us what it is.
It was created in that, when they do the census, for your listeners out there, this is how this kind of sausage maker works. You do the census every 10 years. You come up, and of course, this does not affect the United States Senate, but it does affect the House of Representatives based on population. So the net of it was that the state of Florida got 2 new congressional districts, and for instance, the state of New York lost 2. And so we get these numbers based on how many people live in a particular state, and that's how many representatives they have. So that's how we put another district down in South Central Florida, and we also put one up here, which is literally a brand new district, but it, of course, by definition, incorporates some of the old former districts.
Now, how long were you in the Florida Senate?
I was in the Florida Senate for 6 years. I came to the Senate as when I left being the sheriff of Alachua County. I was at the sheriff of Alachua County for 4 terms.
My goodness, you saw a lot of gator fights.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of the deals was that we have the Alachua County is the youngest county in the state of Florida. So we have all the kind of things that are commensurate with having a youthful population. I happen to be the first Republican sheriff elected there since Reconstruction.
My goodness!
So I was and now they got a Democrat back in there. So well,
it's hard to be a Republican and get elected.
It is.
In Alachua
well, and not only that, and it's also difficult when you're an FSU graduate, which I was both of those. So
2 strikes against you in Gator League.
Yeah, that's right. So I seemed to overcome it for 4 terms. So it worked out okay.
Well, now tell us, what do you make as a former law enforcement? Well, we'll get into that in 1 second. So we're going to go to Mary's call. But I also you were telling me a story about Marco Rubio.
Oh, yeah, Marco Rubio. I heard that you were discussing Marco Rubio, and I'm the first public official to endorse Marco Rubio publicly and privately to him. Now, this cost me a couple of vetoes on bills that I had in front of the Charlie Crist, Governor Charlie Crist, but at the same token, it all seemed to work out. Charlie's where he is, and Marco's where he is, so it's all seemed to work out, and somehow I had a little bit of foresight there. I just knew that Marco Rubio was a quality individual, and Charlie Crist, not quite so much.
That's exactly right, and I couldn't say it better myself. No. I'm known for famously disliking the former governor, and I'm happy to be in that camp as well, and I'm glad that he's an independent. You think he's getting ready to make a comeback?
I don't think so anytime soon. I mean, now he's he's burned a few bridges, and of course he was smoozer in chief for so many years. You know, he had the smoozing thing down absolutely pat, and so I just knew that was that some time that was going to come to a halt, and we would see the true Charlie.
Well, we can certainly peg you then as a very good judge of character,
All right.
Senator. Thank you very much. Now tell us, why are you running for Congress?
Well, this is one of those kind of situations that has come about, and this is a new district, and it better be a new day. I don't think that this country has 6 or 8 years to make this turnaround. I think it's got 1 or 2 years. So I contemplated, retirement. I happen to be 66 years old, and so but at the same token, I feel compelled. I feel led to do this because this is in my book, and it may seem like a over-dramatization to some of your listeners, but I think this almost goes back to the days of the Founding Fathers, where they feel like something had to be done, and I think something has to be done.
Well, Washington is broken when you consider
absolutely.
the debt that we have. It is absolutely
Yeah.
that's what's sinful.
And it's so dramatic, and the quasi-incumbent in there, Cliff Stearns, says that we're going to have more increases in our debt ceiling because we have got to get out of this, but we're going to have to have more debt ceiling increases in the future, and it's just naive not to think so. And it's like the old adage that if you're in a hole, one of the first things to do is to stop digging. So I'm in favor of stop digging, and I think that we're going to have to radically change the profile of the federal government. I don't think there's any of your listeners out there who are conservatives that are going to say that we couldn't get by on 2/3 the government we have right now. And that's my whole idea. We are through trimming around the edges. What we've got to do is to make wholesale changes to the scope of federal government, get back to more of a thing that more of a situation and environment like the Founding Fathers had about what the role of the federal government is, and that entails probably cutting back or eliminating several federal agencies.
Well, we appreciate that. We're going to Mary on line 1. Hi, Mary. You have a quick comment.
Yes, I have a question for Cindy and for the
Senator Oelrich
candidate. Yes, for Senator Oelrich. For you, Cindy, the comment of Governor Huckabee that it is not guns, that it is sin, that is the underlying cause of the horror in Aurora, Colorado. And for Senator Oelrich, how real is Tax-mageddon, as they're calling it in the financial world, coming in January? Thank you, and I'll take your answer offline.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, let me go to the former first. And the question was from the caller about that Senator or Governor Huckabee said that it was sin. I think that kind of goes without saying. Certainly, this is many times we take a lot of violations of laws are also sin, such as
especially mass murder.
Yeah, mass murder. And so this takes what they call a malice aforethought in the legal terms about when you have intent to cause mayhem and murder and so forth. And it is a violation of the law, so he's absolutely correct. I certainly wouldn't find anybody. There's some folks out there perhaps that are perhaps agnostics or atheists that may think that that's ridiculous about talking about sin at all, but it is in fact sin. So the other part about it is that I know the tendency now is to ring the gun control bell, which would supposedly make us all feel better. But is there any doubt that somebody in this kind of frame of mind could not get some sort of destructive device to injure or kill as many people as they wanted to, if that's what's in their heart? Now, let me take the other part of your question. Was about this tax Armageddon kind of a question, and it's absolutely true. We have got to get our spending down, because right now we're borrowing 40% of every dollar we spend primarily from the Chinese. 28% of the overall production of America goes off in taxes. We got 50% of the people who don't pay any income tax at all. It's unsustainable. We cannot keep this up. We have, as many right now, 50% of all the Americans that are out there are takers and not producers. It doesn't take very long for a country to fall apart under that scenario. And so what I'm talking about is not increasing taxes, but just wholesale elimination of various agencies and parts of agencies until we get our ducks in a row.
Well, I'm telling you, did you ever think that we would ever see a time where, especially coming from Florida with the balanced budget, that we would be in such a pickle on the national level?
Oh, yeah.
Are they ever going to discuss a balanced budget?
And that's one of those things that we've got to do. Balanced budget. I've balanced the budget every year since I've been the sheriff, and most of the time return money to the taxpayers.
All right, well, Leonard has a question for you, Senator Oelrich. Do you think you can beat Cliff Stearns?
I do think, I absolutely think. I think there's a great disaffection out there for these folks that have run like Cliff Stearns. He ran on term limits back here 24 years ago. He's obviously broken that promise. He's raised the debt limit 11 times in his 24 years. And he has, in a total of 24 years, has passed a total of 4 bills.
Well, my goodness. Well, we certainly have appreciated you being on our show today, Senator Steve Oelrich. And
For more great interviews like this, make sure to tune into The Cindy Graves Show every weekday at noon on Talk Radio 600 WBOB.